Hi, ever wonder what it's like to work another profession or live in the underworld? Listen to unsuspecting riders give a 10 to 15 minute personal masterclass as I spontaneously interview them as they enter my taxi. I'm your host, Simon Rushton, and this is Taxi Chronicles. Morning. Yes, we're back with another episode, another rider. Today we have the lovely Sarah, who has a yoga business and is very elegant looking. And if you see her mask, ladies and gentlemen, it's someone, someone said it looks like she's got panty on her face, but it's actually a lace, so very French style. And yes, she's French, and we are gonna just have an interview and see how she gets on.
Yes, I'm so pleased to join your car today and to join your interview.
Okay, so
make it very special. Yes.
So first of all, tell us, what kind of person were you when you were at school?
What kind of person when I was school? You know, more like the shy type of kid, not putting too much trouble, and rather on the introvert side. Okay. This has changed when I went to college, and then I became the bad girl. Yeah.
Everybody likes a bad girl.
Yeah. So like a little, my extrovert side came out.
But yoga, you're doing yoga now?
Yes, I'm doing yoga now.
Before we go on to yoga, what brought you to London?
Well, I was living in New York before London.
Okay.
And I was working in the financial industry. And I needed to come back closer to home, which is France. And because I couldn't resume myself to actually move to Paris or to France or somewhere like that at this stage, London was a little bit like the right kind of in-between, city to come. Mm-hmm. So left New York, come to London, took a job in London. And now it's been nearly 10 years I'm here.
Okay. So how did you find living in New York? And are there a lot of French people in New York as well?
Gosh, yes. There is loads of French people in New York indeed, As a French person living in New York, it was quite easy because they just love everything French. Everything is French manicure, French vinaigrette, vanilla French, okay. So there was a little bit of that, though you may remember that it was just a little bit post that... it was mixed in a way.
9/11 thing.
Sorry?
What? You said there's a mix, go on.
Yeah, because you remember that there was like, a little bit also of anti-French going on at the time, like when I moved in. So it was a mixture between people being like in love with the culture, in love with Europe and willing to know anything that was not American, and maybe with particular what was French. But there was also a little bit like an anti-French movement, like against,
Because of...
I can't remember. That's the thing.
Is this, I'm just trying to confirm, is this when after the 9/11 and they wanted to attack Iraq, and then they were like, people were like, no, you don't attack Iraq, leave them alone. And
no, it was after.
Yeah, it was after that.
Yeah.
I don't, maybe I've been traveling myself. So moving along,
yes.
You came onto yoga. How long have you been doing yoga for?
So as a practitioner, like a good 15 years, As a teacher, it's going to be my 6th year that I'm teaching.
Okay.
So yeah.
And what is it you love about yoga?
It just makes me more grounded, a little bit more aware of my own self. So first I started just because I started with the hot yoga, Bikram yoga. So it was making me feel good because I was sweating a lot and I needed the workout. But then I carried on and I discovered different types and different forms of practice, not necessarily in a hot room. And I felt that it really evaluated from being a very strong physical practice to something that is a bit more relaxed now, Even though, what I do is martial arts meets yoga as well. So I do very, very strong physical practice. But I also like, the chill yoga, which I didn't really like before, to be honest, because maybe I couldn't relax into it. It was too much for me.
What's the difference?
But it's more like an introverted journey. So for example, yin yoga, would be holding poses for like 5 minutes, trying to really breathe into it, staying still and, you know, more static, versus what I was doing before was much more dynamic in terms of, you know, either fast pace or being in a hot room that was giving you an additional element that make it hard, you know. Then you learn really to surrender into the practice. And I feel that it's a trend. It's not just my trend, you know, it's like everyone's trend, where they start with very strong physical, either Bikram yoga, Ashtanga yoga, like, you know, the very young one, to be able to ease themselves into doing things that are more meditation based, you know, like that allow people pretty much to be able to sit with themselves and like do other kind of less dynamic or less strong yoga practices.
You sound like you're really into it.
Okay.
I have to ask, is this also a religion for you, kind of thing?
Oh, fuck no. Excuse my French for the F word.
Okay.
No, not at all. Actually, I'm very secular. You see, I'm coming from a background like in between two chairs, between Christianism and Judaism, and what I found with yoga is, but first it did open me a little bit more to the polytheist type of religion, but then I didn't, like, I'm not a religious person, you know. So as much as I believe that there is a stronger force, or that there is like you know, a bigger force than we are, which to me is probably simply the universe, but I'm definitely not preaching any kind of religion or any kind of during the classes. No, absolutely not. No.
Okay, that's good. What have you learnt from your experience in yoga that you wish you knew when you had started?
To take a breath sometimes, simply, you know, like it takes a long journey to learn that. So yeah, just being able to hold yourself a bit better and not react all the time, and sometimes just sit into things, or, you know. What would be your advice to somebody who wants to start yoga? Yeah, okay, my most important advice is, if you go to a class and you hated it, try another class, another teacher. It takes a few tries. Sometimes it deserves a few tries until you find your right teacher and your right setting, because you will have a totally different experience into a different place, a different teacher. Not necessarily that the yoga type might be different. You can practice the same yoga type with different teacher and have a totally different experience. So until you find the person that resonates with you, you know, you should give it a go, definitely.
That's interesting. So I've done yoga. I used to own a gym. I've done yoga when I was in Kenya.
Okay.
And we've done it in the mornings on the beach as the sun was rising.
Yes.
We've also done it on one of the hottest days of the country, where we wasn't inside. We was just under like a palm shelter, a tribal shelter thing.
Yeah.
We had no walls or anything, and it was so hot. But I felt really relaxed afterwards, and I'd never felt any feeling like that before. And I've done lots of different forms of exercise throughout my life. But I will say I do find it very boring. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I'm just there and I'm like, hold, breathe, and it's repetitive, or maybe it's the teacher.
You gotta try different people, different vibes.
That's why I find it interesting when you say that, because I've never considered maybe it's just the teacher's not connected with me.
Absolutely. It will be. I mean, like, you know, it's all about the energy 1% is able to spread into the room, you know. So some people like the very strict yoga, some people like the more flowy, some people, you just have to go test and try until you really find someone that is resonating with you, you know. So if that talks just lead us to you taking another yoga class and maybe finding the right person for you, it's a great talk.
I see what you mean. So where can people find you?
People can find me at Tri Yoga. You know, I teach at the Tri Yoga Chelsea location. As soon as the studio will reopen, you will be able to find me there at Try Yoga Chelsea. I have 6 classes a week. And otherwise, you can find me online. I host classes on Zoom also. It's sarahadre.com.
Can you spell that for us?
SARAHDRAI. David, Ryan, Apple, India, sarahadre.com. And you will find here loads of pre-recorded class, some meditation, everything that you can actually access for free.
Yeah.
If you sign up to my newsletter, you will receive a code to join one of my online classes for free. So I really invite you to give it a try and to join me as well, if you can, in Italy, in my retreat that I'm hosting in November. So this is the advertisement part,
Okay.
So truffle hunting and yoga in the region of Le Marque with a beautiful view on the Adriatic Sea, where we will be doing 2 practices a day, so you can check it out. It's all on my website, sarahadre.com, Sarah, SARAHDRAI.com. There we go.
Okay. And the last question
is,
what's the impact you want to have on the world?
A positive impact, it's, sorry, this is a stupid answer. So, I'd like to have an impact that makes the people stop seeking elsewhere what they can find within.
Okay. That sounds quite deep.
Sorry, I didn't mean to be very deep.
No, that's good. That's good.
But stop looking everywhere for an answer. Stop looking for the boyfriend to alleviate your misery in your life, or the girlfriend, the partner. Just to accept that we all need to keep learning and growing and know ourselves. And the way we learn to know ourselves is by slowing down, and we had a fantastic year for that. I don't want to call this year a fantastic year, but in terms of slow down, we had the opportunity, and I feel that yes, I'd like people to just check for the answers a little bit more inward as opposed to outward. And if I can make an impact in people's life in doing this, I would be quite happy.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot for that.
Great.
And we wish you well.
Thank you. I wish you all.
We hope you liked that interview. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to get the latest daily episode. Ever considered investing in the continent with the fastest growing economy and population on Earth? The same continent that holds 30% of the world's known natural resources? Then listen to our sister podcast, Africa Investor Stories, where you will hear real investors with real stories from around the world share their experience of investing in Africa. We post Monday and Thursday at 10 a.m.